Hello, Southside Nation. Welcome to Den of Kings, episode 11. And I am your host, Goddard, and my other co host is.
Gabriel. Gabe.
Hey, I like that. Yeah. uh, we appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode. This is a recap. This will be a preview, no, a post game on our Lenexa victory. And then also we have our new head team, first team manager, Dan Howard with us. Daniel, how you doing, good sir?
Doing well, doing well. It's a good day.
That's good. Fantastic. Fantastic. Um, Gabe, do you have any opening statements in terms of things to yeah, just opening statements. Not that we have to like get hashing into it because I feel like I'm forgetting something right now at this moment. I'm forgetting my own show flow. Wow, that's wild.
We do apologize about the live stream. But I
Oh,
promise
yes.
it happened. I promise. We see the score that's there. But yeah, we do apologize about the live stream. We thought we had it figured out. And, technical difficulties are going to
Technical
happen here
difficulty.
and there. So we're human. So we'll get it fixed up for you guys so you can keep watching and enjoying the matches and watching it from there.
Yeah. I good shout because I completely forgot that debacle. So I'm trying to put it behind me. But we're working hard to make sure that we get those figured out, ironed out. That way, it's a good streaming experience. We're trying to add to the value of the streaming experience, being able to talk with people before and after the games to kind of give a little more extra flavor. And speaking of which, if you know anybody that's interested in broadcasting, there's an opportunity. You can broadcast, you can be the commentator for Southside games because we would love to hear you. So if you are interested, and you want to give it a shot, submit a tape. Send it to southsidefckc at gmail.com. Would be interested in hearing what you got. And you might have an opportunity to become the voice of Southside. Hey, I think there's an opportunity right there. So, also, get your merch. Merch, southsidefckc.com. Hit shop on the link and get your merch today. Um, and they're looking great. We are still working on more designs, so hopefully we will get those out soon. More reason to get it, but right now you got to get the Fearless T-shirts. Fearless.
Hold up. I got you. Hold up.
Oh, ooh, okay, okay, okay.
What is it? Here
I
we
don't
go.
know. You tell me.
I'm looking at the screen. There we go.
Hey, there it is. And then the latest
There
one
we
to
go.
go up, Kings on the pitch. You know, I like that one.
Every size.
Every size possible. Go to the Fearless T-shirts. Go to the Fearless T-shirts. We gotta show those ones off. Down. I mean, bucket hats, dad hats, snapbacks. Fearless. Click. Yeah. No, that one right there. Yeah. So you can get it in ivory, so that off white, the ivory, and in actual like white. Why are you clicking up the quantity?
Because of how many they need to purchase. 25 of them.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I like
There we
those.
go.
I like
There
those.
we go.
Those are clean. I obviously I'm biased, but they're still clean. They're still clean. All right. Well, let's stop lollygagging and joking around here, even though that's like half our shows. Dan, we're going to get to know you, understand your philosophy as a coach, and how you prep a team for game day. So let's get to know you a little bit. How did you get involved in the sport? What got you started? Yeah.
So, as far as getting started, I've played soccer since I was about four. Grew up with it in a household full of American football lovers. So that's always a fun side of things. But ended up getting pretty good around the age of 7 or 8. Started doing club, and I mean sky was the limit from there. Um, Went to Leavenworth High, played there, decided that coaching was the route that I wanted to go instead of college, and started coaching early at at about 18, 19 years old. Um, Went ahead and started, real small, just individual sessions here and there while I was going to school, and then that gradually became teams, which gradually became entire clubs. So um, fantastic to get to this point where I'm getting to coach grown men now. So I'm just trying to level up every year. Love the sport. Always am competitive. Um, and yeah, that hopefully that shows in the games as well. That just that competitive nature of wanting to do well. Wins will come when everything works well at practices, with your training, with the way that you take care of your body. So that's what I'm kind of trying to get this team to realize. We got to get to trainings, got to work out in the off season, and continue to drive for excellence. So,
What would you say is the biggest aspect of your philosophy when it comes to coaching? If you could kind of sum it up in maybe a sentence or two.
when we talk about a philosophy, we talk about a mindset, because you've got to get your players set into that mindset early, and they got to buy in. My three go-to phrases are teamwork, hard work, and focus. Um, when you can bring those three things to the table every game, every practice, even in your film sessions, um, it brings out the best in not just yourself, but the team as well. Um,
Yeah.
and I love to press off the touch, press on offense, press on defense. Worst case scenario, you score 2 goals and you let one in. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a win. So that's kind of the philosophy. We're gonna be pressing every game from here on. So we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Gabe, you look like you had a question. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it's like I think we're starting here. It's like we're asking the important questions, but the biggest one is I think I'll let you say it, Goddard, since you're the owner, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But Dan is now the head coach now. So in general, it's just for if we were watching and kind of confused at what's going on. So I'll leave that to you, Goddard, and that's your side right there.
Gabe got fired.
Hey,
Lost 3 games. Nah.
hey, that leads into our philosophy as well. If there's somebody better for the job, I will be the first one to step aside. Um, and I think that that's for the players as well. They want to see this thing grow and grow and grow. So if there's anybody that's better than somebody, they understand and they're willing to sacrifice something for the team. And that's what I love about this team. So,
For sure. So before people start whispering and saying something, because I've already started a rumor, and Gabe, you should have done better. Uh, but it's a role shifting of what is happening here. So obviously Dan is going to be taking over as the head coach of the first team. Gabe is going to be moving into the front office and will be the new general manager. Yay! So he will be helping in the front office build the organization and push the organization forward. I believe that there's an opportunity, and obviously, Gabe, you've put a lot of work in since basically day one. Like,
Yeah.
basically day one.
Took a lot of convincing to get Dan in here before the season started, So just like you said, started to day one, and I wasn't even in this position. I'm like, hey, Dan, you need to get into this. You need to get into this.
Get in while it's still at the ground floor, right? As they say, And then if it takes off, then you can say, "I remember when." Uh,
where were you when?
exactly.
Hey, man, Dan can have a statue in there, in the next plus 40 years. We have a giant stadium, and you just see a statue of just Dan just looking pissed off.
Like usual.
Well,
Never happy.
Either way,
Yeah.
we're going through shifts, we're growing, and we're trying to get to an opportunity of being able to improve and then grow. So obviously, with moving Dan into that position with his experience and his background, um, coach, being a part of entire leagues and programs, it made sense to bring him into the fold. And yes, he was assistant coach for a while. And then with Gabe gaining experience, especially more on the business side of things, it just made sense to make the shift now. And then eventually, as we grow and as we look to grow the organization, of course, there'll be more shifts, especially in the future when we decide to have a youth, when we have a youth program. Obviously, those other shifts will come too as well.
Correct.
So,
Because
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, because just kind of like Dan was saying, which is I share that same philosophy where it would be very selfish of me if I were to take the role also as the general manager and then only just also keep the head coach position looking like Peter Vermees, but not only that, but it would be selfish. Would that be very cool? Yes, but at the end of the day, I understand where in order to look for the future for Southside is we have an amazing talent when it comes to a coach of this guy who knows a lot more than I do. I was already fortunate enough that he came in as my assistant coach. And with his background that I know of where he's coached and how he's coached with the academy, with over here in LUSC, to now with Sporting Blue Valley, right?
Sporting
Call
Cal
that like
Valley.
Sporting Colorado Valley, so one of the sportings that they all own. But in general, with his expertise, he was growing within the coaching world, and then I was growing within the business world. It only makes sense that the unselfish thing to do and the best thing for Southside would be bringing up Dan as a head coach with his expertise, and then leaving it aside because if people don't understand by themselves that what is the best for the club, then the club can't grow regardless of where you go. So that's I share that same philosophy with Dan. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's as simple as enough. So growth is the mentality here, and through that growth, we get embedded into the community and make ourselves a household name. But you got to have the right people in the right position to be able to do that. So we're growing, but so obviously in future episodes, we're not necessarily going to be. This is not a normal thing we talk about on the regular on the show. This really is about the club's on-field performances and even maybe some off-field moments, especially if once as we're trying to find ways to get embedded into the community. It's going to be more so about those, but obviously to take a moment and kind of let people know a change that they might have noticed. I'm sure there's some astute people that kind of saw some things a little differently. Well, now here we're making that official statement. So, no more wondering. Dan's the head coach. So, um, let's kind of chat a little bit on some of the tactical side from our game. Yes, it's not yesterday. Oh my goodness, on
2 days
Saturday.
ago.
Yeah. At time of recording, it was 2 days ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Um. So I know that obviously there is still a lot there's defensive things that we have to fix because right now defensively, just in general, it's never been our strong point. We are very much a team in the in shootout. What are some things that without maybe revealing too much to everybody that might be listening to the episode, how are some ways that are you looking to kind of correct defensively? Because I mean, we've let in what 13. I think it's 13 goals in 4 games. Like, in order to
yeah.
compete at the top, you can't necessarily do that.
I mean, we've let in 18 and 7 played, which is still outrageous to
Yeah,
be completely fair. Even at 2 goals a game, we would have 14 goals against, not 18. You know, we are where we are. It is what it is. To put it in basic form, only thing that we need to do is score more points than the other team. If this team wants to go out and shootouts, that's what we do. But that means that the defensive mentality is gonna change. We're not a sit in the block kind of team. We get bored. We will be pressing, and we will be pressing high. We'll be pressing often, cutting off passes, squeezing the field a little bit, and hopefully getting easier midfield wins. Just simple stuff like that, and that'll really improve the goals against, just because we're smothering teams, and that's the new identity. Um, Another thing defensively that we've lacked as well is wings and forwards pressing and forcing the pass backwards so that our defense can, maybe get into position a little quicker. Um, so that'll also change. I mean, it's just going to be a completely different defensive team. Offense is going to stay the same. It's potent. I would even argue number one in the league. On any given day, they can put 4 or 5 in the back of the net easily. But we've got to stop allowing these easy goals, and I think pressing will help us with that.
So, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. So, Dan, with obviously one match had to be postponed, and where we sit right now, unfortunately, with I believe 2 losses, one with Olathe and one versus Crown Villa, both by 1 goal difference, both a shootout. They don't really speak for themselves, but in general, I would believe where we sit doesn't explain or doesn't really show where we should sit. And I'll bring up here the league table here so our fans can see.
Well, it definitely tells us why we sit there and why we're in the position we're in. The offense will tell you they didn't finish a few of their chances in those shootouts. So if you create a shootout game, you've got to finish all your opportunities. And then on the flip side, with our defense, you guys let in goals. I mean, easy goals, easy over the top runs, easy through the middle runs, and that's the kind of thing that can't happen and can't be easy. You got to make sure that it's as difficult as possible for them to score. And we didn't do that. That's why we're sitting in 5th.
Okay. And then with that, like I was saying, with talent that we have on the club, right? I believe that we should be on a higher spot, right? Especially like I said, we're missing a match here as well. Regardless if we were to win, in the scenario that we were to win, we would be higher up. But obviously, we can see the goals forward is 35, one of the most goal scoring clubs out of the whole league. But we sit at 18 goals at the most. No, not at the most, but the most out of all of the top 5 when it comes to that. Tell me a little bit about that when it comes to we can score the goals, and I know we don't really. I would say the defense, we have talent in the defense. It kind of talk about that as well. How do you see us going in the future for the league and even possibly competing versus Olathe again and competing for that top 3 spot in general?
Oh man, let's get number 4 first. That's first and foremost. While we can sit here, look at this league table for hours and hours and hours and think about all the film that we look at, how we scored our goals, how other teams scored their goals. First things first, we got to come out and we've got to win our next game. And that should this game should have set the tone that we just played. And this is the tone that we're going to set for the rest of the season. As far as trying to go up and compete against an Olathe, won every game. Right now, we're not competing with Olathe. Right now, we're competing with Crown Villa and Liberty for a 4th or a 3rd spot. That's our goal, is to get to the 3rd spot, so that in the future, when this happens with the KCAF Super League, we want to be in that. We want to be in the fold to go play more, to show off our club more. The only way to do that is win out now. So we put ourselves in this predicament.
Yeah. I would even go as far as to say, like, while it would be difficult, I mean, second place isn't far-reaching too when you kind of look at it from a records perspective only. But again, Woodland is a good team. They're a solid team. They are disciplined and they know what they're doing. They very much know what they're doing. I mean, catching Woodland is a tall ask. It's not necessarily outside of the realm of possibility. I mean, a lot of games are still yet to be played. We're like we're barely halfway through the season. There's a lot of games left, but I mean, I'm probably with you. Third place is probably in terms of the realistic space. But why not? Why not second place?
We, I mean, we've got 11 games left in the season to come out and prove this.
Yeah.
That Southside belongs in a top 3 spot, but if we keep allowing goals to go in like we do, we're right where we're supposed to be if we keep allowing goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because kind of like what Goddard was saying, kind of piggyback on that. I think it can be at the end of the season, it's going to be a very tough battle, and within the top 3 when it comes to points shared. Not points shared, but in general, similar points that we would all have. So it would really go towards the goal difference. And right now we're sitting on plus 17, which is not the worst because I think we would be third in the best of the goal difference. If we didn't receive that many goals, if we would have had like for example, like a Woodland or Olathe, those 9 goals, then the goal difference would be perfect at the end of the end of the
season.
It would be a better odds for us. But in general, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we were one of the only clubs to score the most against Olathe, which added those more goals onto them, and then there. So yeah.
Well, Olathe and Woodland, right? I mean,
I can't remember the score versus Woodland.
We bagged 3 against
3.
each of those teams. Like I said, we can score. And those are the 2 best defensive teams in the league with 9 goals against for each.
And I would say that's kudos to the team and the offensive power because we gave them a third of their goals against. We literally gave them a third of their goals against. And that's not easy because those teams are solid. They are very solid. They know how to fight for each other, defend for each other, and they make it difficult. They make you work for it. So yeah.
And I see that, you guys are really talking about the Olathe Woodland being an actual, very competitive team, very disciplined team, and, one of those teams that you need to be. But Dan, talk to me about, we've kind of skipped over on Liberty and Crown Villa. Talk to me about those, since those are the 2 objectives to hit, to even just hit step 1. Tell me about Crown Villa and Liberty when it comes to what you see in them and how you want to approach, without, like Goddard said, without giving too much detail. But what are some thoughts you have when it comes to Crown Villa and Liberty?
Well, I'm not mistaken, right? Crown Villa beat us, right?
Correct, by 1 goal.
Yes. What if we stored up our defense on that game? Just that game alone, right? Because again, another shootout. We missed our chances, and they went in and they made theirs. Simple as that. Liberty, we ended up beating them, but it was a very tough battle. Liberty's a solid team this year. So I mean, both are going to be difficult to go up and play against. But we've got to bag our chances and we've got to take away their opportunities. Very simple. Score more goals than them. And I think that our defensive woes will change when we, if we're shooting more and not giving the ball away in weird positions, or the defense isn't lazy getting back. I mean, those are 2 very simple things we can fix. No lazy passes and no laziness getting back. So
yeah, agreed. I I think we'll get it sorted out. I think now that we're finding a new rhythm, I think we've turned, kind of feels like that we're on the verge of turning a corner. I mean, a win definitely does help, kind of, especially break a 3 game winless run, which is unprecedented for the club. So obviously, it's a new challenge for us, and just another reason to to fight to climb to the top. And when we get to the top, it will feel that much sweeter. But obviously, there's still a lot of work to do. I don't think that's any shade against the teams above us, but obviously, we believe that we can make that climb, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and that's what it comes down to. Was just getting our mind right and moving forward towards it. So, but any final thoughts? Any final thoughts, guys? No.
We're just gonna go out there. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun, Goddard. It's gonna be a great time. The men are gonna get better, and I'm gonna get better, and I know this organization is gonna get better, which is always fun. So
Yeah. Gabe, go ahead.
I'll say this. One of the last messages I'll say is, guys, visit the YouTube channel and the rest of our social media, but might be biased, but I'll say we have one of the best content creation out there within the league, with great talents with Matt and Otto. Shout out to them, and then me. But but in general, we do have a really amazing media team. They capture one of the best things within the league. Not a lot, you have other semi-pro teams out there, not even in this league, within UPSL or MPSL, who don't even capture what we can capture, which is live games, interviews, and even little edits, which is, I'll show you guys a bit of a preview, just because it's fair. It's only fair for the fans to see, if they haven't visited. So right over here we have. Do you see, guys? Is the show right or no?
Yeah, I can see. See.
Oh, why are we laughing? Why are we laughing?
No, it's just this is what we're here for.
But in general, we have Southside Football Club right here. Not very hard to find, as we're one of the first ones to pop up. But unfortunately, we only have 48 subscribers. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that.
Subscribe. That means they should subscribe.
Yeah. So in general, you will find all our games right here, full matches right here. You see Dan right there, a perfect guy. You can see all the matches here. They're always going to be live a lot of the times, unlike this weekend. But I'll show you. Here's a little thing that Matt did for us.
Oh, yeah, that was
perfect. You don't see these things, and then you can hear David Marshall saying something in a Scottish accent that I don't know what he's saying, but it is perfect. And then I mean, we got perfect things. We got little shorts. We got this. We got Gilly the Brazilian coming here. If it loads, apparently it's too much. But if anything, I mean, we have most recent. Please view it. It's very fresh out there. Pro Smash interviews with, the one and only Dan and Tony when it comes to here. And then here we go. And then look at that. Look at Dan the man. Look at him right there. Look at him here. So
upset
in general,
as always.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
In general, guys, we provide the best content out there. We give you the inside scoops and the behind the scenes. So please subscribe. It doesn't hurt. It's just one click, and you get to see things you don't get to see with small clubs. So join in before we get thousands and thousands. And hey, maybe if you join in, we'll give you a like, and we'll comment back to you.
Maybe. By the way, people need to comment their questions to us, because we might have maybe comment a player you want to see on the podcast, or comment a question that you might have. We may just be able to answer them. So
yes.
Anyways, let's pause there. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things, get our merch. We appreciate it. And with that said, I believe that we are done. So in other words, I'm going to catch y'all on the south side. Ooh. Actually, before we actually go, this whole thing, like, I'm still thinking about this. How the whole Lakers in 5 thing was a thing with Shannon Sharp.
Timberwolves at 5.
Timberwolves.
Yep, Timberwolves beat the Lakers, and Timberwolves at their Western Conference Finals, and then we're going to go to the finals and win the finals, and we're going to win it at sweep it 4.
You know
Timberwolves at
what?
4. That's what we're doing.
We should do like we should create like a South Side in like 3 or a South Side in 5. And the only reason I say that is one, it obviously it's a play on the Lakers in 5, but then 2, it would be a play on the MLS system because now the first round does is best of 3, which is dumb by the way. So I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's like it plays on two aspects of it, but
There you go.
anyways, I just wanted to banter for a second. So, hey, all right, guys, catch you on the South Side. See you later.